Hey guys, Ouija here, back today with another Riptide deck tech. Today I want to be going over the list that I took to a top 8 finish at a ProQuest Plus in Houston, Texas. This was one of the first tournaments with the new Rosetta meta. So that being said, going into a blind field, I kind of just wanted to play the most aggro list possible and just ask a question if they can survive the onslaught. And it worked out well for us. I think the barbed aim build is a little too slow right now, but we'll see how the meta shapes up. But yeah, let's just go card by card, and I'll just give some quick thoughts on why I chose to run the cards I did. So we have Bullseye Bracers. I chose this over the aim counter gloves just because I'm not running Stone Rain, and I found that to be a little inconsistent. It can be good, but I just opted for the extra arcane barrier, and I just really like the option of giving something +1 like the Bolton shots just to like lead off a turn, and set up a huge turn with like Snapdragons, Rain Razors, things like that. So yeah, I just opted for Bullseye Bracers. Death Dealer, we just play this into the pure race aggro matchups. Nothing really needs to be said here. Dreadbore, I think we play Dreadbore in a lot more matchups these days than Death Dealer. Dreadbore is just extremely good. The +1 presents a lot of awkward breakpoints, so that's nice. And also, the amount of times that people pick up this card and read it, and they're just kind of like, oh wow, like it's like they forget or something. It's kind of crazy. And also Dreadbore, like let's say you have a Heat Seeker trigger and you have a face-up card in Arsenal. Dreadbore allows you to load even with that face-up card in Arsenal, while Death Dealer does not. So that's a plus. Dreadbore is just extremely good. I almost want to run it all the time, but in the pure aggro matchups where they're not running defense reactions, Death Dealer is just better. New Horizon, just super good to set up 6-card hands. But the Heat Seeker, Ponder kind of combos, it's just really good. Quiver of Abyssal Depths. Some of these matchups can go long, especially against like Verdance and Florian. So Quiver is nice to get the 3 arrows back. In actually one of my games, this came in clutch to get 3 more arrows because the Verdance match was kind of going to fatigue. So Quiver is just really good, especially if you're going second and say you have a non-arrow hand, your opponent just passes. You can just like pitch your hand, quiver nothing, and hopefully draw into some arrows. So yeah, Quiver. Snapdragons, just the best boots we have right now, I think. Some people like to run Perch Grapplers for the block, but I'm just trying to be the most aggressive possible, and Snapdragons allows that. Set up super wide turns with Rain Razors. The aim counter boots are kind of pointless unless you're running the gloves. And even with that combo, in like an aggro list, a non like barbed list, if you're running that combo, you're kind of forced to use the aim counter boots to give go again the moment that you use your gloves. So Snapdragon just allows more flexibility. Trench of Sunken Treasure, I mean, this chest is just insane right now. The AB is extremely relevant right now. The sinking a card to gain a resource is crazy to set up codex plays. Blocks for 1 in the late game. Just run Trench. I'm not a fan of Tunic. We have the Bolton shots in red and yellow. Bolton shot, nothing really needs to be said here. Just super good to have the wide turns to go again. The Bullseye Bracers can load this in, give it the +1. Dreadbore gives it +1 go again. Threatens a reload. If you have like a buff Bolton shot 1 card in hand, they have to be scared if it's an arrow. It may or may not be, but makes them think. Bolton shot, just a staple. Drill shot, really good at just getting rid of armor, especially against like the rune blades right now. You need to just get that armor out of the way, and then you're kind of online to just set up these breakpoints and make things a lot easier. Endless Arrow, just a solid arrow, just something that you can just sit in Arsenal and attack with over and over again. Really good with the Rain Razor, Snapdragon, Bullseye turns. So we are running 3 of that. And Lightning Strike, just another go again card. Very flexible. Draw a card, set up an Arsenal, give it the +2, coming for 7. The go again. Really, really good with Premeditates to play Premeditate, load the E-Strike, and send it for 10. I did that multiple times over the weekend, and it's just extremely good. Falcon Wing, just a 3 go again. Nothing really needs to be said. It's almost free damage because no one really ever wants to block this, because usually there's something coming after this that they're going to care about more. So Falcon Wing is just good at just chipping in damage that no one wants to block, and also just setting up wide turns. You can play like a Falcon Wing for 3, like say against like an Enigma, and throw Rain Razors over it and threaten their wards. So it's really good for that. Heat Seeker, this arrow is like MVP over the weekend. The amount of times that this triggered and the opponent like just letting me set up 6-card hands is just crazy. It was usually combined with a Codex. So either like you trench, you like play the Codex, get the Heat Seeker, you make the Ponder off the Codex, shoot the Heat Seeker. Is just a super good combo to set up cards. You're guaranteed to Ponder, and they have to ask themselves if they're willing to give you the Heat Seeker card as well. So Heat Seeker is just extremely good for setting up the wide turns that you need to close out some of these games. Laser Blood Rot, one of the best buffs we have. Potentially a 0 for 5. Also really good against Enigma to threaten their wards. It just chips in damage. Most people cannot pay for this, so it's really good right now. Laced with Inertia. Anything that destroys or threatens people's arsenals, especially when you're playing Dreadbore, is just insanely valuable. With Dreadbore, not letting them play D-Reacts from hand, and Laced with Inertia and like a Seek and Destroy, getting rid of their arsenal. It just allows you to play around breakpoints a lot easier. You know that the max they can block in their hand is like 12, unless they have like a Seeds of Tomorrow or something that like, well, no, they can't even do that because they have to get rid of an arsenal. Let's say, yeah, it's just a lot easier to find the breakpoints when they don't have an arsenal and you're playing Dreadbore. And a lot of times these heroes want to set up something in their arsenal like a Felling of the Crown, and this just tells them they can't. And a lot of times they can't even block the arrow that this is coming in with, because their hand like blocks a bunch of 2s or no blocks, so it's really nice. Premeditate, another insane buff, making the Ponder token. Usually I would play this first and then play like a Scar for Scar from hand and then reload something, just to kind of have multiple breakpoints to threaten the Ponder. To almost guarantee it, because no one's really going to block a Scar for Scar unless they have the D-React, which sometimes they do, but then you're going to come in with another breakpoint after, generate the Ponder. It's just extremely good value. Like I said, playing this with an E-Strike for 10 is just kind of nuts. Ravenous Rabble, 0 for 4 go again. We're going fast. I think this only came in for 3, like once, over all the games I played. So that was really nice. And with Death Dealer, it just lets you see the top to see if you want a Death Dealer draw buff off the top, or you kind of just opens up some plays for you, see what arrow you want to load in to buff to shoot. So Ravenous Rabble is really good. Release Attention, this is another like insane card right now, I think. The amount of times that you're able to kind of read if the opponent has a defense reaction just based on the way they block. If they block awkwardly, or if you're kind of like reading body language, you can kind of just tell that they're setting up a D-React and Arsenal, and you just play a Release Attention combined with Dreadbore, and they're just stuck. Like, they can't play that D-React from Arsenal. It's really awkward for them, and especially if you like Release Attention, Seek and Destroy, and threaten that D-React that they set up. It's just super, super good. This allows you to leak a lot of damage. I think this is really good right now. And along with that theme, we have Remorseless. Remorseless, obviously good into the aggro matchups. If you load it face up with like Dreadbore, gets a +1, and defense reactions can be played from Arsenal. So it's another way to just completely stuff any defense reactions that they want to play. Just allowing you to constantly leak that damage. So Remorseless is insane. We are playing 3 Scar for Scar. Like I said in the beginning, I'm just trying to go as fast as possible. 0 for 4 go again, 0 for 4 go again, 0 for 4 go again. Scar for Scar was really good. A lot of times it was online. You kind of play that game where you're kind of whittling your opponent's health and your health down kind of at the same time, and Scar for Scar just gives you that extra value. And a lot of times, you know, you get played, someone plays Warmongers against you, and Scar for Scar is really good. You can load an arrow, like a bolt and shot, shoot it for go again, and just end with the Scar for Scar. Just a 0 for 4. Yeah, so Scar is just really good. Chain Ender, it's a leader if you have less health. Kind of helps you play around Warmongers, just having more attack actions. So I really enjoyed Scar. We have Searing Shot. This arrow is just good value. A lot of times leaking that extra health, it helps a lot against Enigma to get around wards, and especially in the late game whenever you come in for 7, it makes that awkward break points where they're at extremely low single digit life totals, and leaking that 1 can be the difference between life and death. The late game, codexing this to get games a lot of times that they just can't block this is just really good. Seek and Destroy, like I was saying earlier, just Arsenal Disruption, really good combined with Dreadbore. We're playing 1 Sikkim Shot. This is probably the only card that I would just make something else. I was thinking about this, or like a Sleep Dart, or like 1 Infecting Shot. I think both of those are better options in this. This really didn't do much, to be honest. So this slot here is just kind of whatever you want it to be. We have, that was awkward, Sigil of Solace. We were playing 3. Love this card. It allows us to use our whole hand. It allows us to bait CNCs, especially with a lot of arcane damage right now. You're able to just play it out. It's kind of like a pseudo blue. You're just playing with a higher life total than your opponent knows. It's just solid right now. I love this card. Codex of Frailty, I mean, $75 card for a reason. This card just opens up so many plays, especially if you have like a Codex and 1 card in hand. You Codex, Riptide trigger Trench for the resource, get a Heat Seeker, shoot the Heat Seeker. If it hits, you get the face-up card, and you get the Ponder for Frailty, setting up a 6-card hand, which is just insane value. So we have that. We're playing 3 Rain Razors. Yeah, the Rain Razors, I just wanted to go over the top against Enigma, play around their Spectral Shields, set up big Snapdragon Rain Razors, endless arrow turns. Yeah, Rain Razors is really good, just leaking on hits, especially like if you lace with Blood Rot like a 0 for 4 arrow and they block exactly 7, you can Rain Razors and still leak that damage. It's just really good. Buzzsaw Traps, one of the best traps we have, especially against like Azalea, KO, even the new heroes, Felling of the Crown, Plow Under. It's really good. It's, yeah, like this card's just really good. I played it probably every game over the weekend and it got its value. Collapsing Trap, this is the best trap we have. This card's just insane. Won me an Enigma game on stream. It also won me a game against Vynsett. So yeah, Collapsing Trap, obviously extremely good. And this is kind of our sideboard here. All these cards here that I just mentioned, this is this core 60, like just aggro 60, just kill them. And then this is our like sideboard here. We have the Frailty Traps, Inertia Traps, Tar Pit Traps, and the 1 Spike Pit Trap, along with the 3 Murkmire Grapnels. You kind of just play the traps as needed for the matchups you see fit. Murkmire's obviously for Enigma. So yeah, nothing really needs to be said here. This is just the sideboard package. This is the core 60. I did add the matchups in here so you can kind of go in and see what cards you run there. If you have any questions, you can just ask in the comments. More than happy to answer, or message me on Discord, whichever is easier for you. Yeah, it was a great weekend, great tournament. Learned a lot. Had some insane games. There was, like I said, I was on stream against Enigma. You can go back and watch that game. I'll link the stream down below if you want to see that, and also with the deck link to this. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, just ask. I'm more than happy to answer. I hope you liked the video. You can subscribe. That would be really cool. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.